Hi, in this video we will see the concept of pulse code modulation PCM, differential pulse code modulation DPCM, delta modulation DM and adaptive delta modulation ADM techniques. All these are the digital modulation techniques which are useful to convert analog signal, that is continuous time, continuous amplitude signal, into digital signal. Also, we will see what is the difference between these techniques in terms of the bandwidth, in terms of the quantization process and in terms of the noise. Before that one, we are all familiar that to convert the analog signal into digital signal, we are using three important processing techniques. First one, sampling, quantization and encoding. For all these techniques, the sampling process is same, but the difference lies in the quantization process. That is, these techniques will differ in the quantization process. So first of all, we will see what is the sampling process and the basics of sampling process, and then we will see how each technique is different in the quantization process, and then we will see how we are going to encode it after the quantization. So first we will see the sampling process. This is the concept, this is the analog signal, which is the continuous time and continuous amplitude signal represented as x of t, where Tm is the time duration here, time period is equal to Tm. So here the frequency of this message signal, and this is the message signal, the frequency is Fm here. So Fm is the notation we are using for representing the message signal frequency Fm, where time period is equal to Tm. So frequency Fm is inversely proportional to 1 by Tm, time period. Now to convert this analog signal, continuous time, continuous amplitude signal into digital signal, the first thing what we are going to do is we are applying the analog signal to the sampling block. Now this analog signal, continuous time, continuous amplitude signal, is converting into discrete time continuous amplitude signal through the sampling process. But to perform the sampling process, we have to satisfy this condition, Nyquist condition, that is the sampling frequency Fs is greater than or equal to 2Fm. What is the meaning of this one? The sampling frequency is always greater than or equal to twice of the Fm. Here is nothing but the highest frequency present in the message signal. So if you take the sampling frequency Fs like this, then we can easily reconstruct the signal without any loss. So that is the sampling theorem. If Fs is greater than or equal to 2Fm, it indicates that so time period Ts is very much less than Tm. That is, what is this Ts is nothing but the sampling time, that is the time interval between the two samples. That time interval should be very less to easily reconstruct the signal. So that's why to satisfy this condition, we are going to sample the analog signal. Here I am taking Ts first sample, and again after 2 Ts I am taking the second sample, next 3 Ts I am taking another sample. Like that, the difference between these two sampling, that is the time interval between the two samples, is Ts we are taking here. That is, here the time is discrete. We are not taking any sample in between Ts and 2 Ts. That is, we are discretizing the time here. So that's why this signal is represented as discrete time continuous amplitude signal, that is represented as x of n into Ts, where n is the 1 into Ts, 2 into Ts, 3 into Ts, so on. So x of nTs is the notation used to represent the discrete time continuous amplitude signal, which is the sampled signal here. So that is, x of t is the analog signal. By applying the sampling frequency, by doing the sampling process, and Nyquist criteria Fs is very much greater than or equal to F, we sample the signal, and the sample signal is written as x of nTs. Here. Now the important point here is, what is this Ts? Ts is the time interval between the two samples. If the time interval between these two samples is very less, then whatever the variation that is occurring in the input signal is going to be taken in the sampling process now. So that's why it is easy to reconstruct the signal afterwards. So that is one important point here. So this is the basic or common process for all the PCM, DPCM, DM and ADM techniques. Now we'll see the difference between the different techniques in terms of quantization process. So this is the signal considered as a sampled signal, that is a discrete time continuous sampled signal. This is the sampled output signal. Now this signal is going to be processed by using PCM, DPCM and delta modulation. Now we'll see how we are going to send this sampled signal through PCM. Now in PCM, this sampled signal is quantized as, let us consider here the quantization levels I am taking as 0.5 one quantization level, 1 quantization level, 1.5 one quantization level here. Observe this one, there is no quantization level or voltage level in between 0.5 and 1. That is, we are making the amplitude discrete here. Here the first voltage is 2.2 volts. So here 2.2 volts is round off to 2 volts here. Why? Because at 2.2 volts no voltage level is there. So that's why here the 2.2 volts is quantized as 2 volts. That is nothing but discreting the amplitude. So here discreting the amplitude 0.5 as discrete level, 1 as discrete level, 1.5 as discrete level. So we are discreting like this. Now after discretizing here, we are encoding the each voltage level. Here how many voltage levels are there? Around 8 voltage levels are there. So to represent this 8 voltage levels by using different bit patterns, we require 3 bits for each level. So 0, 0, 0 I am using for representing 0.5 voltage level, 0, 0, 1 I am using to represent for 1 volt. So 0, 1, 0 I am using as bit pattern to represent 1.1, 1.5. So like this I am using different bit patterns to represent each voltage level. Now in PCM technique, what we are doing, this 2.2 volts at 1 TS time period, this 2.2 volts is round off into 2 volts here. Why? Because only 2 volt voltage level is there is no voltage level as 2.2, and the bit pattern assigning is 0, 1, 1. So that is at TS time period, the 2.2 volts is sending as 0, 1, 1. Now what we have done here, that 2.2 volt sample is converted to digital 0, 1, 1 bit pattern. Now at 2 TS it is 3.3 volts. Here 3.3 volts is not there here. 3 and 3.5 is there. So that's why that 3.3 is rounding to 3.5 volts. Now the 3.5 volts bit pattern is 110. So that's why here at 2 TS we are sending 110 bit pattern. So like that for each sample, that is here total 5 samples are there. For each sample to transmit this 2.2 volts we are representing with 3 bits. So for each sample here we are represented with 3 bits. So total 5 samples are there, 5 samples here, total 5 3s are 15 bits is required to transmit this signal using PCM technique. That is nothing but the bandwidth. Bandwidth nothing but the number of symbols we are transmitting. Here bandwidth is equal to, so how many samples are there? Samples per second into number of bits used to represent this sample. Here that is equal to samples per second number Fs into bits per sample is nothing but the, so how many bits we are representing for each sample. For transmitting this 2.2 volts at TS time bit we are using 3 bits. For transmitting this 3.3 volts at 2 TS we are using 3 bits here. So that's why here bandwidth is nothing but number of samples we are sampling for that analog signal, samples per second into number of bits for each sample we are transmitting. Here n is equal to 3 bits we are transmitting for each sample. So that is nothing but bandwidth is equal to Fs into n is the bandwidth formula for PCM technique. Here Fs is equal to minimum sampling rate is equal to 2fm. So that's why the formula is bandwidth is equal to Fs into n, that is equal to 2fm into n. Now in DPCM technique what we are doing is, we are not transmitting directly the voltage sample. Here what we are doing here, at 1 TS 2.2 volt is there. Now in DPCM the actual sample 2.2 volts is comparing with the predicted signal at that 1 TS only. That is, let us consider I have predicted that the voltage sample is 2 volts. Now the difference between the actual sample 2.2 minus predicted value 2 volts, that is 0.2 is there. That 0.2 you have written here. Similarly, next sample is 3.3 volts. This the actual value is 3.3 volts. Now the predicted value at that 2 TS only, Remember that value I am comparing it to the same time interval. That is the important point here. The actual value is 3.3 volts and the predicted value it is considered to be 3 volts. How the predicted value is coming that 3 volts? Based upon the previous values, the predictor device is going to be obtaining that value. So 3.3 is comparing to 3 volts and the error is 0.3 here. So like that, we are comparing the actual sample at TA 3ts time period with the predicted value of the 3ts time period. We'll get the differences like this, 0.2, 0.3 let us consider here. Now observe all these differences, these are around very small values, that is 0.2, 0.3 only. Now observe here, I am taking the quantization levels are 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 and 0.5 let us consider. Why? Because these are the voltage levels here. Now this 0.1 level is assigning bit pattern 0, 0. Why? Because here only 4 levels are there, so that's why no need to use 3 bits for each level. 2 bits for each level is sufficient to represent these 4 levels. So that's why 0, 0 to represent for 0.1 voltage level, 0, 1 to represent 0.2 voltage level, 1, 0 to represent 0.3 voltage level, 1, 1 here I am going to represent 0.4 voltage level. So that's why here, so first sample, to transmit this first sample 2.2 volts, what I am transmitting actually 0, 1 bit pattern I am transmitting. But in PCM techniques, what we have transmitted? We have transmitted that TS time period, we have transmitted 3 bits 0, 1, 1. But to transmit this same TS time period signal, we are in the DPCM we are using only 2 bits rather than 3 bits here. How it is possible means, here the difference we are taking, the difference values are very less, that's why only few levels are sufficient to represent the levels here. So that's why only few bits are sufficient to represent each voltage level. So that's why 0.2 I am encoding as 0, 1. Next 2 TS tab with 3.3 volts is sending as, so the difference is 0.3, so that's why I am assigning 10 bit here. So that is to transmit these 5 samples here, I am assigning only 10 bits here. Previously we have 15 bits there. So that is to transmit the same signal here. Here we require 15 bits to transmit. Here in DPCM we require only 10 bits to transmit the same signal. That is we are saving the number of bits transmitted. That is with less number of bits we are able to represent the signal based on DPCM. So that is the bandwidth here is now it is equal to Fs, that is the samples per second into how many samples are there, and for each sample how many bits you require. That is the bandwidth. So that is equal to, so sampling rate is nothing but 2 FM. So that is 2 FM is the sampling frequency, samples per second into. So here for PCM we are using n is equal to 3. So n is large here. For DPCM n is equal to 2 we are using. Here n is small here. So that's why the bandwidth required for PCM is somewhat larger than the bandwidth required for DPCM. So that's why here by quantizing with the difference values of the predicted value and the actual value, we are able to reduce the bandwidth required to send the signal. So that's why the DPCM signal is having lesser bandwidth than the PCM signal. Now we will see, is there any possibility to reduce bandwidth further? Observe carefully here. For PCM, what is the bandwidth here? Bandwidth is equal to how many samples are there and how many bits are used to represent each sample. So total 5 samples are there, and for each sample are using 3 bits. Total 5 into 3. Total 15 bits you require. That is the bandwidth formula. So this formula is very simple. I have to understand like this. And for DPCM also it is nothing but number of samples are same. Total 5 samples are there. But for each sample we are using lesser number of bits than previously PCM. So that's why the sampling frequency is 2 FM here also, and also here also 2 FM. But the bit n, but the number of bits n is large here, it is 3 here. For DPCM it is n is small here, that is only 2 here. So that's why the bandwidth required for DPCM is lesser than the PCM. Now we will see further decrease of bandwidth by using delta modulation. In delta modulation what we are doing is 2.2 to 3.3 it is increasing. So that's why at 2 TS period we are transmitting 0 if it is increasing. If it is decreasing from 4.2 to 3.3 then we are using 1. So if it is increasing we are transmitting 0. If it is decreasing we are transmitting 1. So from 1 to 2 it is increasing, so that's why 0. From 2 to 3 it is increasing, so 0. From 3 TS to 4 TS it is decreasing, that's why I am using 1 here. From 4 TS to 5 TS it is decreasing, that's why I am transmitting 1 here. That is, for each sample here we are transmitting only 1 bit. That is, here small n is equal to 1 here. So that is 2 FM into 1 here. That is, 2 FM is the formula here. So that is, by using delta modulation we can transmit with lesser bandwidth only. when compared to the noise,